I remember sitting down with a friend a few years ago. She had just finished her teaching degree, had about $35,000 in student debt, and was trying to figure out whether to take a job in Toronto or a position in a smaller town up north. The salary was similar, cost of living was lower up north, but she was worried about being far from her family and friends. If we had that same conversation today, the math would have been completely different. That is because as of 31st December 2025, a bunch of professions can now get up to $60,000 wiped from their student debt. So let me walk you through exactly who qualifies, how much you can get, and how to actually apply for this. Hi, I'm Armagan. I'm a CPA and I love talking about money, investments, and taxes in Canada. If that sounds like your kind of thing, consider subscribing to the channel. Alright then. So what is this program exactly? The Canada Student Loan Forgiveness Program is exactly what it sounds like. The government literally wipes out part of your student loan. This isn't a deferral where you pay later or a payment reduction where you pay less each month. The debt actually goes away. But this program only forgives the federal portion of your Canada student loan. If you have a provincial student loan on top of that, this program does not touch it. Some provinces like British Columbia and Nova Scotia have their own forgiveness programs, so check with your provinces separately on those. Also, this is completely different from repayment assistance plan or RAP. I have a separate video that explains RAP in detail, but the short version is that RAP is for people struggling to make payments. This forgiveness program is specifically for people working in certain professions in certain communities. And that brings me to the main catch for this program. You have to work in what the government calls an eligible community. That means either a rural area or a town or city with 30,000 people or fewer. Now, before you tune out thinking this doesn't apply to you, about 30% of Canadians live in a community that qualifies for these loans. That's roughly 11 million people. So this is way less restrictive than it sounds. The government has a postal code lookup tool where you can check if your community qualifies for this. So this program has actually been around since 2012, but for over a decade, it only covered family doctors and nurses. The idea was to get healthcare workers into rural and underserved communities that were struggling to attract them. In Budget 2024, the government announced they would expand the program to 10 additional professions. But if you follow government programs, you know there's often a big gap between announcements and when you can actually access the money. Budget 2024 was in April 2024. The regulations did not come into force until 31st December 2025. That's almost 2 years. And even now, applications for these new professions won't be reviewed until March of 2026. I'm not trying to be political here. I just want you to understand how these things work. But the good news is that it is live now. So let's go through who actually qualifies. The 10 new professions added as of 31st December 2025 are dentists, dental hygienists, early childhood educators, midwives, personal support workers, pharmacists, physiotherapists, psychologists, social workers, and teachers. These are in addition to the professions that were already covered, which were family doctors, family medicine residents, nurse practitioners, registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, registered psychiatric nurses, and registered practical nurses. One important thing, you need the proper license for your profession and it has to be recognized by the authority in the community where you work. There are some exceptions for family medicine residents, PSWs, physiotherapists, and early childhood educators depending on your province. If you are in one of those categories, check the application form for details. Or call the National Student Loan Service Center before you make any big decisions. So how much can you get? Well, this is the part which everyone wants to know. The amount depends on your profession and it's paid out over 5 years. The amount actually increases each year you stay in an eligible community, which is a nice incentive to stick around. There are 3 tiers. Tier 1 up to $15,000. This covers early childhood educators, dental hygienists, and personal support workers. Year 1, you get $2,000 forgiven. Year 2, $2,500. Year 3, $3,000. Year 4, $3,500, and year 5, $4,000. That adds up to $15,000 over 5 years. Tier 2 is up to $30,000. This covers nurses of all types, nurse practitioners, midwives, teachers, social workers, and physiotherapists. Year 1 is $4,000, year 2 is $5,000, year 3 $6,000, year 4 $7,000, year 5 $8,000, to a total of up to $30,000. Tier 3, which is a big one, is $60,000. This is the top tier. It covers family doctors, family medicine residents, dentists, psychologists, and pharmacists. Year 1, you get $8,000 off. Year 2, $10,000. Year 3, $12,000. Year 4, $14,000. and year 5 gets you $16,000, which makes the total to be $60,000. Let me show you what this actually looks like. Let's bring back my teacher friend from our earlier conversation, and let's say she graduated with $35,000 in Canada student loans. After her first year, she applies and gets $4,000 forgiven. The balance drops to $31,000. After year 2, another $5,000 gone. She is down to $26,000 now. Year 3, $6,000 more. Now she's at $20,000. Year 4, $7,000 down. Year 5, $8,000. Overall, now she's only left with $5,000. In total, she just had $30,000 of debt disappear over 5 years. And during that time, she was also making the regular payments. So the actual remaining balance would be even lower. For a lot of people, this could mean being completely debt-free years earlier than expected. One more thing here, the 5 years don't have to be consecutive. If you work in an eligible community for 2 years, move away for a bit, then come back, you can pick up where you left off. As long as you still have a Canada student loan balance and meet the other requirements, you can keep going until you hit your 5 years total. So let me give you the full checklist of what you need to qualify. First, you need a Canada student loan that's in good standing. That means you are up to date on your payments. If you have defaulted, you need to fix that first. Second, you need to work in an eligible community, rural areas, or population of 30,000 or less. Third, you need to work for 12 consecutive months for most professions. There are exceptions. For example, if you are an early childhood educator, psychologist, social worker, or teacher working in a school, you only need 10 consecutive months. That lines nicely up with the school year. Fourth, you need to provide at least 400 hours of in-person service during this period. This has to be in person. Working from home does not count for this program. Now, what if you need to take leaves? If those are less than a month and you still hit 400 hours, you're fine. If your leave is longer or it prevents you from hitting 400 hours, you will need to show what you receive. EI benefits like maternity, parental sickness, or caregiver benefits. If your leave was unpaid or covered by private insurance, you might still qualify, but you will need documentation to prove that. You can also work in multiple eligible communities during the year, and you can have more than one employer. As long as it all adds up to 12 months and 400 hours of in-person service, you're good. So the application process itself is pretty straightforward, but there are a few things you need to know. Once you have completed a full year of service in an eligible community, you have 90 days to apply. This deadline matters. Don't miss it. If you're a doctor or nurse, you can apply online through the National Student Loan Service Center. You log in through My Service Canada account. But if you are in one of the new 10 professions, here's what you need to know. You cannot apply online yet. You have to apply by mail. Download the Canada Student Loan Forgiveness application form and the employment attestation form from the government website. Fill them out and mail them to the National Student Loan Service Center in Mississauga. And here's the thing that catches most people off guard. Applications for the new professions won't be reviewed until March 2026. The online option will also become available in March. So if you submit now, just know that your application is going to sit in a queue for a bit. There's actually some good news buried in this regulation as well. You can apply retroactively. Let's say you are a pharmacist who started working in an eligible community in January 2025. You finished your year of service in January 2026. Even though the profession wasn't officially eligible when you started, you can still apply. The regulation allows for this. Once your application is approved, your Canada student loan balance gets reduced. Your monthly payments will also go down unless you opt out on the application form. And remember, you have to reapply every year. This isn't a one-time thing. Each year you want forgiveness for, you submit a new application after completing the year of service. If you are in one of the eligible professions and you are open to working in a smaller community, this is real money that can come off your debt. We are talking $15,000, $30,000, or even $60,000 depending on your profession. The 2 videos on your screen will help you take your financial journey even further. Check those out and I'll see you in the next one.